Hello, magical friends, and welcome to episode 75 of WCRD Radio. I'm your host, Witch Bess, and this month I'm talking to some of Wizard Rock's most enthusiastic innovators, the Swedish Shortsnouts. We had such a wonderful conversation, and I can't wait to share it with you. Of course, first we've got some music to listen to, so without further ado, here's Alex Boyd and I Could Use a House Elf.
My ADHD meds haven't kicked in yet. I'm sitting on the couch, depressed and very slow. I've got so much to do, I don't know where to begin. Staring at all my junk on the floor, thinking I could use some help. I sure could use a house elf to help me out. Treat him really nice. He would be my bestest friend in the world. I would never lose the remote to my TV. My clothes would always be folded, the trash would always be out. Hermione would probably think less of me, staring at all this junk on the floor. Would you like to come and help? I didn't think so. Well, I sure could use a house elf to help me out. I would treat him really nice. He would be my bestest friend in the world. I sure could use a house elf to help me out. I would treat him really nice. He would be my bestest friend in the world. Not only would my room be clean, he could help me play test my new deck. Listen to all my new songs. I bet this one would be his favorite yet. Well, I sure could use a house elf to help me out. I would treat him really nice, and he would be my bestest friend in the world. I sure could use a house elf to help me out. I would treat him really nice, and he would be my bestest friend in the world. And he would be my bestest friend in the world. And he would be my bestest friend in the world.
Well, the students at Hogwarts are sorted into houses according to whatever that shifty sorting hat says they ought to do. I asked Dumbledore if I could be sorted. He said, sorry, Wumpy, but I could get reported to the Ministry of Magic for incorrect procedure. You're not a wizard, you're a tree. So I'm starting a new house and it's called awesome. I'm starting a new house, it's called awesome. I'm starting a new house and it's called awesome. I'm starting a new house and it's called awesome. I'm starting a new house, it's called awesome. I'm starting a new house and it's called awesome. Well, the House of Awesome is a place for anyone without a home, regardless of race, religion, creed, gender, or sexual preference. We accept whites, we accept blacks, we accept rebel freedom fighters on horseback, we accept Asians, we accept Jews, we accept everyone and that includes you. So I'm starting a new house, it's called awesome. I'm starting a new house and it's called awesome. I'm starting a new house, it's called awesome. I'm starting a new house and it's called awesome. I'm starting a new house and it's called awesome. I'm starting a new house, it's called awesome. The students at Hogwarts are sorted into houses according to whatever that shifty sorting hat says they ought to do. I asked Dumbledore if I could be sorted. He said sorry won't be, but it could get reported to the Ministry of Magic for incorrect procedure. You're not a wizard, you're a tree. So I'm starting a new house and it's called awesome. I'm starting a new house, it's called awesome. I'm starting a new house, it's called awesome. I'm starting a new house and it's called awesome. I'm starting a new house, it's called awesome. I'm starting a new house, it's called awesome.
Out in the cold Scottish castle of Hogwarts, I fell in love with a Gryffindor girl. Nighttime would find me in Rosemerta's tavern. Butterbeer flowed until Ginny would hurl. Greener than green were the eyes of young Potter. Everyone mentions them 10 times per tale. Ron eats a lot and Hermione's bushy. Hagrid is stupid and Malfoy is pale. Every cliche you can think of is here. Oh, look, it's Severus Snape. Greasy and sneering and dour and obnoxious, and Batman wishes he wore such a cape. Here's next chapter now. Harry and Draco are secretly lovers. So are McGonagall and Argus Filch. Ron and Hermione fight and then make up. Does Dobby get laid? Nope, not a zip zilch. Transformers, Avengers, or My Little Pony. Writers of fanfic somehow make it work. 200,000 word mashups with X-Men. Harry's Patronus looks like Captain Kirk. So many versions of how goblins act, and ways to be late for class. Theories of time travel, how to kill Horcruxes, but Bane the Centaur is always an ass. And we're told how Cornelius Fudge is admired by Umbridge. There goes a pairing I could do without. The Goblet of Fire exists for one reason: taking your tickets, then spitting one out.
HP 14. Bingo!
Snape is a bad guy, no good guy, no bad guy. Lockhart is always a fool. Men can get pregnant and harems are common. I was told this is a junior high school. Not accredited, I have read fanfic for over a decade, and I have seen every trope in the game. Dumbledore's evil or noble or crazy. Death Eaters, Stormtroopers, one and the same. Out here in the West Texas town of El Paso, I fell in love with the Potterverse fix. But as I ride with my hands on my tablet, I've got no signal. That's life in the sticks.
That was Alex Boyd and I Could Use a House Elf, House of Awesome theme song by the Whomping Willows, and Hogwarts El Paso by Tom Smith. House of Awesome was dedicated to Callista, Eddie, Dave, Christy, Leah, Ahmed, Phoenix, Stace, and James by my magical patron Jeff. They say, our show at MistyCon will be fueling Patronuses for the rest of my life. And here's my conversation with the Swedish Shortsnouts. Welcome to the show, the Swedish Shortsnouts. It's so cool to have the whole band all in one place together.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
I think the last time I saw you perform, you all had done this really amazing screen for one of the Owl Fests.
Yes, we did that a couple of times in different ways.
Yeah.
It was incredibly impressive, and still I think is one of the highlights people talk about.
It was really fun. It was actually quite difficult. Like, even up until when we did the first one, where we did the screen, where we were filming screens in a series of 3, basically. It's a bit hard to explain. We didn't know it was going to work until we were doing it. Like, we were a little unsure up until the point.
Yeah, and even when we did it, it didn't really work 100%.
No, we had like
No.
a couple of patches where it wasn't.
But it
really
was
coming
good
through.
enough.
I think it worked incredibly well for how risky it was.
Yeah. But it was one of those things that I kind of realized, like, I think this should be possible. And when I realized that, I always have to do it.
Yeah, you have to try.
It's kind of my weakness.
And your strength, because we did it.
I guess it is a strength.
And it works out incredibly well for the rest of us.
Yeah, it does, because
Yeah.
you get to try all these cool things that I think we should do.
Yeah.
Now, as I said, we do have the whole gang here, I think, so that might be a little confusing for listeners. Shall we start with just introductions? Who's who?
That's a good idea. Yes, the crazy one. My name is Eric.
Yeah. And I'm Jimmy. I'm sitting behind the drums right now.
And I am Anna by the keyboard.
I always like to start with your history with Wizard Rock. What got you into it? What got you started playing and performing? Do you all remember the early days for you?
I think we remember it quite well. It's all Anna's fault.
it was kind of, because I was really into Wizard Rock. This was around like 2007, which was a really cool time to be really into Wizard Rock. And my problem was that I was really into Wizard Rock in Sweden, which nowadays is not a problem, but back at the time it absolutely was, because there just weren't really active Wizard Rock bands. There wasn't really a Wizard Rock scene, and it was my passion. I loved it so much. I was, I think, 15 years old, and so I talked my brother Erik, the crazy one, into starting a Wizard Rock band with me. It was quite easy, actually, because it was just the sort of project that you would enjoy. It just so happened. And then along the way, the band has grown, and Jimmy has also joined as our drummer. Yes, there's probably more to say about.
I knew what Wizard Rock was. I listened to Wizard Rock and I liked it, but I was more like, I listened to the big things. I like, oh, this Harry and the Potters thing, that's a cool project. Oh, they did a Draco and Malfoy's one. That's nice. But that was kind of it. But you listened to like everything you could find, essentially.
Yeah, I was just going all over MySpace, downloading songs from all of this band, sort of going from band profile to band profile, just downloading MP3 files, putting them all in playlists on my iPod. This was very I did all of those things, and I just what I really wanted, it was kind of backwards, because at the time I wanted to go to a Wizard Rock concert and nobody else was playing them where we lived. And I figured if we started a band, maybe there would be other bands, and then I could go to those concerts, right? It was kind of a backwards thought. Along the way, I got a lot more interested in playing the music myself, and I was really, really happy that I was on stage as a Wizard Rocker and not just in the audience, because that turned out to be great fun. But initially, it was sort of a master plan to try to see if someone else could be foolish enough to do this thing that I had persuaded my brother to do with me.
Jimmy, were you also into Wizard Rock, or are you one of those muggles that got tricked?
It's a little bit of both. I was sort of in the same boat as Eric, because like I knew about like the big acts and listened to it a bit, but I was mainly like just a musician in general. So, and there weren't many drummers around. I was playing with another Wizard Rock band called Solitary Snape at the time, and we did a few. I think we did a few gigs with Swedish Shortsnouts, like at the same show.
Yeah, that's how we met Jimmy. Was it at the Wizard Rock show where both the
absolutely.
Shortsnouts and Solitary Snape were playing?
Yeah, and at a later show where both bands were playing, we just said like, wouldn't it be fun like if we did the Swedish Shortsnouts as a full band instead of like just them playing acoustically, or using like backing tracks with the programmed drums and stuff that was on the recordings, and sort of went from there. So I was in the scene, but I wasn't like that big into Wizard Rock. I was mainly like playing it, but yeah.
Would you say you're a bigger fan now, or are you still just coasting on your surface understanding?
I'm not even sure at this point how many different projects I've been in. So I my interest definitely like grew as it progressed there in the beginning. Like so I'm definitely a bigger fan now than I was back then. And I've had lots of fun. I think we've been doing this like in different constellations for like 16 years now. So yeah.
That's pretty amazing. 16 years.
Yeah, it's half my life. So yeah.
I feel you on starting a project in the hopes that other people would also get excited and do more. Did you have success? Have you created a successful rock scene in Sweden?
You had an amazing success.
I mean, yes, but oh god, I immediately want to point out that it wasn't. I don't really think us starting the Swedish Shortsnouts was necessarily what caused it all. I think that there were a lot of bands that like formed around that time, and we also I was briefly on a podcast in 2007. It was a podcast called, I believe, Expelliarmus Cast. This was a long time ago. We started a Swedish podcast with quite there weren't a lot of listeners.
There were not many podcasts in Sweden at that
No.
point. There were almost
No,
none.
but we had a podcast, and we did an episode about Wizard Rock where we were really trying to fill out time. So I think we talked for like a good 20 minutes about how nice it would be if there were more Wizard Rock bands. And after that, a lot of bands started in the months after that, because the community was sort of listening to this show, and suddenly everyone wanted to have a band. I'm sure people wanted to have a band for more reasons than that. I believe Solitary Snape formed around then. I'm looking at you, May.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can look at me for dates. We formed in the spring of 2007 and Solitary Snape in December of 2007.
Yeah,
That's correct.
Yeah, and that podcast episode was sometime in that fall. And a lot of things were happening at the same time. This was 2007, so obviously the seventh book was coming out. And there was this sort of sense that if we don't do this now, when are we ever going to do it? And it sort of translated to Wizard Rock bands, to the podcast, to events that people started to organize. Like, it felt sort of like everything was ending and we just were not letting it. Like, the community really took root during those years, like 2007, 8, 9, thereabout.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
So I feel like your band name is almost self-explanatory, but I would love to know how you came to it. What made you decide to be dragons, especially since that's been such a thoroughfare in some of your music?
I think it was. This is something probably we thought about that afternoon, but it was basically the only reference to Sweden in the books. Not quite. You also have Luna Lovegood going to Sweden.
Yeah, to
but,
see the crumpled horned snorkack.
Yeah, so we could have been the crumpled horned snorkax.
Yeah.
But we went for the Swedish short snout. Although interestingly, if you're very observant, you may have noticed we accidentally spelled it wrong.
Yeah.
In the books, it's spelled short-snouts, but we spell short snouts as a single word. But it was purely a mistake. But we've just gone with it.
Yeah, a lot of words in the Swedish language. When you put two words together, you don't put a space in between. So it's just how we, especially at age like 15, 16, would write that, not being. I mean, I think we were very proficient at English at that time, but not quite as proficient as we are now. And it would never have occurred to me to double check that wasn't supposed to be one word.
We just forgot to look it up.
In Swedish, that would be one word. Of course, it's one word. Short snout. So I think it's neat, though, that we have this subtle difference between the canon. But I actually remember, I don't know if you remember this, Eric, but we nearly called ourselves the Hufflepuffs.
Yeah, that's true.
Because we were talking about it as the Hufflepuffs until we hit upon the Swedish Shortsnouts. And they were like, you know what, that's better.
That's probably because we were doing this as we were recording our first song, which was called Win the House Cup. And we never mentioned in the song which house we are supporting.
No.
So then it would make sense that the band name would mention that. But
because the song is a house-neutral House Cup song.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm happy we went with Shortsnouts.
Yeah,
I think it makes more sense.
It's been very useful because as you said, it does appear a lot in our music, and it's been fun to think of all the little times when the short snout may have been relevant, or where we could make it relevant to the story.
Are you all Hufflepuffs? Would that still make sense today?
We were.
Yeah, my girlfriend would never let me say that I'm a Hufflepuff, so...
So he's a Slytherin now.
Yeah.
And I still haven't forgiven him for it, but it's okay.
It happens to the best of us. My patrons were curious about your musical influences. You've mentioned that you listen to a lot of the like the biggest and earliest wizard rock bands. Are there other wizard rock or Muggle musicians that you all are really fond of?
There's one perhaps unexpected one. At the time when we formed the band, or slightly shortly thereafter, I was listening a lot to Tenacious D, Jack Black's and Kyle Gass band, and they're very different from us. They do comedy rock, which is a genre that I think has a lot in common with wizard rock, but they're a bit more explicit. We're very family friendly, but they're the thing they do when they're like a duo with two guitars. That was influential because like their songs are very simple. They're often in the key of D, which is an easy key to play on the guitar. And all of our songs happen to also be in the key of D because it works well with both me and Anna's voices. So yeah, sometimes I just feel like Kyle Gass when we do play live.
So Tenacious D for Eric. What about...
That's one I have to say because it's also an unexpected one, so it's kind of fun.
Yeah, I would not have guessed that.
Yeah, I think mine are also unexpected, actually, because I listen a lot to Japanese pop music. It's one of my favorite things, and there is so much. Japanese pop is very like melodious, which I think it has that in common with Swedish pop as well, and for me that's been a bit influential in how I think about songs, and also because I watch so much. I watch videos of live performances of Japanese pop artists, and that has influenced me some in like what we do when we sing live, and sort of what I want to do when we write songs, to be able to incorporate some sort of interaction with the audience into the performance. Like, for example, we wrote this. We have a rap song in Swedish called Bertie Bott, and I think it was one of the most unlikely things ever for us to do a rap, but I was dead set on doing this rap because I had this vision for this call and response portion, just really simple stuff. When I say Bertie, you say bot, that sort of thing, but I just thought this would be fun and this would work really well.
Did it ever?
I think it's worked fairly well.
Okay.
At any rate, it was fun, and it sort of influenced a bit how I think about songs in terms of how I want to perform them live and what I want to be able to do with an audience rather than in a studio, I think. Yeah,
that's a thing we've thought more about as time goes on. How would this work live? It's not something we thought of at all when we first started making songs. I think that the key turning point when we really started doing that was when we first saw Harry and the Potters perform live in Sweden in 2010.
Yes.
That was like, oh, so that's Wizard Rock.
Oh, you can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was absolutely eye-opening. Yes.
That makes sense. Their live shows are just like a revelation. And, you know, I think those two influences do go together pretty well because Jack Black has such a good sense of humor. He would love to be the next Baby Metal or Puffy Amiyumi.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
Do you all write your songs together? What's that process look like?
It's been very different throughout the years. Obviously, when we started, it was just me and Anna, and then typically Anna would write lyrics that were, as I remember it, almost finished by the time you got to.
No. I would get you the finished version, and you would say, and I would rewrite it.
Right. Maybe I had some feedback. But,
you did.
But generally the lyrics came first.
Yes.
That was typically it, and I made some music for it, and then there were a couple of revisions of that. But since then, we've had different setups as well. We've had like sometimes I remember, for example, at a New Year's Eve party, me and Jimmy were bored or something because we went to a corner and we're like, let's write a song, and we flipped the book randomly and we stumbled upon the chapter called Lord Voldemort's Request. Although this was the Swedish edition of the book, so it's called that in Swedish, and that ended up being a song with that title, it's a Swedish song about Lord Voldemort ordering ice cream in Diagon Alley. And it's one of our most popular songs in Swedish somehow.
Hilariously, it is. Like, you came to me an hour later at that party, like, we wrote a song, and you played it to me. And I was like, what are you guys doing? And it worked so well. It's just, we cannot play a show and not play this song. It's we have to play it. It's a staple.
The energy in your music does seem to generally be sort of joyful and like fun. So it makes sense to me that it translates by and large well to live performances. Do you have are there performers that you would love to collaborate with, either, you know, on like a live show performance or on an album, and anyone?
I mean, I think one of our dream performances is what we've already done. We've played horns for Harry and the Potters. That's probably one of our dreams when we started out. But I don't know. If I were to say like a really crazy one, what about the Hungarian horntails? Do you remember them? Because they're also dragons.
Yeah, like that. We were talking about that at some point. Like, that would have been so fun just to do like a dragon something. There's a synergy there. Something could have happened.
Yeah. I don't think they're very active anymore.
No. No, but that would have been really, really cool. But yes, as you said, we've also we've played quite a lot of shows through the years, and with every possible Wizard Rocker in Sweden, and with a bunch of international ones as well, in a way that we just never could have predicted when we started this. So I think we also have experienced so many sort of meetings with other artists in the community. We've been very fortunate in that way.
Fun fact, the first time that I and Eric saw Harry and the Potters live, I was playing drums for them.
Right, because they didn't have a drummer coming over with them.
Yeah, so they were doing a Scandinavian tour back in 2010, and they weren't gonna bring a drummer, so they were gonna do acoustic sets. But like, I like took a chance and wrote to them and said, I'm going to all the shows anyway, because we were gonna do that. So I wrote to them and said, like, do you need a drummer? Because like I'm gonna be at all the shows. So do you want me to play for you? And I did. And I've played with them several times after that as well.
How much did you rehearse before that first show? Like 1 hour?
Together, yeah. But by myself, like a few days probably.
Nice.
But no, it was basically a long sound check, and then we did it.
That's amazing. I've been learning as I do these that drummers are sort of a rare and valuable resource in Wizard Rock. So there's never a drummer that just plays for one band. You end up being the communal drummer.
Yeah.
This seems like a good spot for a music break. And look, here comes Avada Kedavra by Time Bomb.
for the kid that complains way too much about the attention I get. Way too much. Spends his life crying in the bathroom way too much. Gets himself stuck on tempered way too much. If he would just leave us alone, but he keeps throwing rocks at the throne. Never showed an ounce of courage in his life. Always serving himself, never serving the light. Maybe one day he'll turn over a new leaf, but until then he keeps giving Gryffindors grief. And the jealousy keeps seeping real deep. A day in the life of a fair-faced creep. Dumbledore offered you a way to be free, but you turned it down in favor of tyranny. And one day when you can finally see, you'll get nothing from me, not an ounce of pity. Pure blood wizards and pure blood witches, me and my mud blood bitches can kick your britches. Step to me, Draco, you'll be leaving in stitches. Watch me catching snitches on my Quidditch pitches. Pure blood wizards and pure blood witches, me and my mud blood bitches can kick your britches. Step to me, Draco, you'll be leaving in stitches. Watch me catching snitches on my Quidditch pitches. Little whiny punk always has something to say, and even little crybabies have their day. But your day is not today. I'm afraid to say that this is not a game you'll play. Yeah, your money is stacked pretty high, and I'll admit your wife is pretty fly. Sexy little surprise, always giving me a rise. Haven't you ever noticed your son has green eyes? Oh, I'm sorry, did I offend you? Did it make you mad to know that your son's blood is not blue? But he'll grow up to be better than you. But of course, it's not like that's hard to do. Cheer up, Draco, turn that frown into a smile. Just know that every once in a while, that when she looks at you with a twinkle in her eye, she's thinking of me all night. Pure blood wizards and pure blood witches, me and my mud blood bitches can kick your britches. Step to me, Draco, and you'll be leaving in stitches. Watch me catching snitches on the Quidditch pitches. Pure blood wizards and pure blood witches, me and my mud blood bitches can kick your britches. Step to me, Draco, and you'll be leaving in stitches. Watch me catching snitches on the Quidditch pitches.
That was Time Bomb's Avada Kedavra, Draco Doesn't Know by Undesirable Number 1, and Never Get Away, which is a little sneak peek from Striking Down Diggory. It's on the album that's coming out next month. Here's more of my talk with Anna, Eric, and Yumi. So we've been talking about it a little bit, but as you said, you've performed with everyone everywhere, and I'd love to hear some of your stories of those performances.
Wow, where do we start? I think, I think one of our most influential performances was a Swedish conference in 2009 called Expecto Patronum. That was a really big one because there were so many Swedish acts there, and that's kind of when the Swedish scene kind of all came together.
Yeah, that's also the first gig that us three played together.
Correct, it was. So that was a really special
So
one.
that was the first Shortsnouts gig as a three piece.
And then, of course, I mean, the Harry Potter's tour, Harry and the Potter's tour in 2010, when they came here, we played. We opened for them on a couple of shows. That was really great.
Right. So the first gig, I played with Solitary Snape, and I played with you, and then I played with Paul and Joe. So
Yep. So you did 3 sets.
Yeah.
That's impressive. And then what else? And I mean, when we had all the shutdown and stuff recently, we have done a bunch of live streams that were kind of cool. We did the camera in, camera one. That was cool. We also played a Swedish con called Dobby Online. And there we did a collaboration with Pussycat Dolores. That was really cool because we've done a song together, and that's the only time we performed that live. We kind of showed up as a surprise on the Pussycat Dolores set. It worked really well.
I really enjoyed the last show that we did. That wasn't really our show, but the last music show we did at the convention Multicon, which was a multi-fandom convention that ran from 2013 to 2017. There we go. So
in Stockholm.
Yes, 5 years. And for the final year of that conference, we did a show. Actually, you sort of produced it, Eric. A show that we called Rhapsody in Fandom, where there was like a whole band. And when I say a whole band, I mean that we just got everyone who could play something useful together. So we had people like, I was playing trombone for most of the set. We had someone on flute, we had someone on clarinet.
Yeah, 2 cellos.
Yeah.
I think we had like a saxophone person come in. Like we had like a band sort of that caliber that played. And then we did a bunch of like Wizard Rock sets integrated into that. So the Wizard Rock bands would come on and do like their hits basically. We came on, Pussycat Dolores came on, RSE came on, I forget who else. A bunch of people came on and did that. And between that, it was mixed with like the band playing covers and medleys of like fandom relevant songs. So there was I think there was a musical medley, perhaps.
There was
Disney medley.
There was a Disney
medley. I had to learn the Pokemon rap for some reason.
Getting to the whole Pokemon rap for this thing. It was just this packed show, and we rehearsed for months. We got all of these people together. We rehearsed for months. We had this rehearsal space somewhere in Stockholm. I don't know how we got it, and then we did this one night only performance for this convention, and then never again. Like the scale of the ambition for that is memorable to me, because it was just, we were sort of, when it was over, it was kind of like, that's it, we're never going to do it again. Like we put together this whole program.
I think that was another one of those, I think we can do these moments, and then we have to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fun. That was a milestone in, we can do this. That's cool.
And then, of course, we have to mention that we toured on the Yule Ball tour in the US once.
Of course.
In 2018. That was really big.
Yeah.
So cool to meet all those bands. We met the Whomping Willows, of course. Draco and the Malfoys were there. Although not playing as a band, but they were there. Strange.
They were there. Tonks and the Aurors.
Tonks and the Aurors.
And we played Washington, D.C., New York, and
Boston?
There we go, Boston. So we did 3 shows in the US. Yes, that was also a really big milestone, and just also such a cool moment to connect with the Wizard Rock community there in a way that I had never expected that we would be able to do. So that was extremely generous and wonderful of Paul and Joe actually to invite us over to do that.
We met so many cool people as well in the audience that had, like, we had heard of them, they had heard of us. It was just great events.
Yes.
Do you all do smaller like library performances around town?
Not recently, but we have in the past.
Yeah, we
we've
have.
done a couple of we've done. Oh yeah, we've done the biggest library in Stockholm. I forgot about that.
Well, you played Stockholm Public Library.
Yeah, we
Yes.
played
Yeah.
Stockholm Public Library twice.
Yeah.
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 And we played a couple of municipalities outside of Stockholm.
Yeah, we
and
did Uppsala and a few other ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've done a few of those, but it hasn't been. I know that was a big tradition in the early Wizard Rock in the US, but it never really was in the same way here. So it's just a handful of those.
Yeah, it's been basically if the libraries are putting on some sort of event and they reach out, we've been really happy to come and play, but we haven't really sought out to tour libraries in the way that I know that Wizard Rock bands did in America in the beginning. But it's been very good fun whenever we've done it.
What are those audiences like? I remember I've been hearing from Pussycat Dolores and the Bluebringer Humdingers that in different countries the audiences react very differently to the music. Like in London, the Bluebringer Humdingers had to stop performing because the audience got so ahead of them because they were so excited.
Yeah, the library shows have been interesting because that's often been with people who are not really familiar with our music. So then we kind of have to walk them through it and tell the story. So that's been a challenge.
Yeah, but that's been really fun as well because then in a different way you sing the songs, and we have a lot of comedic material, I want to say, and it's fun to see people laugh at the punchline for the first time. It's also fun to play those shows where the audience really knows the material and they're singing along. That's a different energy, but it is quite fun to step outside of that and to sort of present it as to people who've never seen it before and to see the way that things hit with people who don't have this innate knowledge of Wizard Rock and what it is, and who just enjoy these puns about these book characters that we made.
What is it like writing and performing in multiple languages?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah, that's a really good one.
Surprisingly easy, I would say.
Yeah.
We never really plan out oh, now we're going to write a song in English or Swedish. It just kind of happens.
Maybe we did a little bit when we did the second album, and we were looking at what we had so far, saying, do we want to balance this out a bit more? Do we want to have both? But generally, when we write a song, I don't even know what our process is for deciding what language to do it in.
Yeah, there's some obvious ones. I can think when we did Troll in the Dungeon, that came about because that line fits so well together with that instrumental hook that we kind of came up with. And obviously that's a line from the movie.
So that one just made sense.
Then it has to be English.
Yeah.
We're not going to do the Swedish dub. I haven't seen the Swedish dub.
Yeah.
Well, maybe I have, but I don't remember it.
But I think our earliest material we wrote in English because we wanted there to be a Swedish Wizard Rock scene, but we also wanted to connect with the international Wizard Rock scene that was there. And it just didn't really feel like it made sense to make material in Swedish at that point in time, because then if we put it on MySpace, the audience would be more limited. But I think over time, we wanted to do more material.
Yeah, we kind of ended up doing 50-50 eventually.
Yeah, because we wanted to be more specific to our community and to the things that we had going on and so forth.
Yeah, and cater to different audiences. Like when we're doing those library shows in Sweden and there's a bunch of kids there, they're not going to understand much English, so then we need the Swedish material. We've done shows where there was essentially 100% Swedish stuff because of that. And we've also done shows where there were almost 100% English stuff when we toured in America, for example. Then we only had one Swedish song just for the lulz.
So you said that there was an explosion of bands early on. Are there still a lot of other folks performing over there?
Not performing.
No,
really.
It's not regularly. There's been a bunch of one-offs and when there's a conference and stuff like that, but it's not like it was back in that, I'm thinking of the mega show back in 2009 where there were so many artists we had to almost, start saying no to people because of time.
Yeah, I think with the pandemic as well, there haven't been as many events going on, and I think you still see sort of the effects of that it hasn't really picked back up in the same way. There are some things going on, but bands aren't in the same way performing regularly now, and I'm not completely sure, frankly, where that is headed right now. So it's not as active as it has been, at least.
Sounds like it's more just dormant and waiting for the next big event or explosion. Wizard
it could
Rock,
be.
Yeah, has that habit of ebbs and flows, I've noticed. For anyone who might want to be part of the next scene explosion, do you all have any advice?
Don't. You will lose all your time to this hobby.
No, not cool. Eric is
not our
lost his
advice.
talking rights.
no, no, I'm joking. Of course, you should do it. But I don't know. We were talking about this earlier as well. And one thing we were saying is, it might make sense these days to not completely limit yourself to Harry Potter topics, because that's the thing we've seen. A lot of people have had very much success with like expanding to different books and movies and stuff like that. Something we've kind of done a bit as well, but not as much.
No, not as much. But I think there's a lot of potential there, and I think that Wizard Rock has really the strength of Wizard Rock has really shown that there's so much potential in writing material like this about something that people are so familiar with and can relate to, and you can write about that while also writing about other things, as we see with a lot of Wizard Rock, that it's about Harry Potter, but the song is at the same time about something else, and it's using that material to say something bigger or to speak to an audience and so forth. And I think if you're just starting out, I think there's a lot of power in that, and that is something really, really cool and creative. Like you work with something in that way, and as Eric said, there's a lot of potential for doing that. I think it would be interesting to see more bands just playing songs about books, to see it expand a little bit, like see where that could take it. I don't know if that is the next step, but I personally would absolutely listen to something like that. I read a lot of books right now, so that would be something that would really, really interest me.
I think that would all fall under Filk, which is a sort of big nerdy music scene over here, like the SCA and everything. So are you gonna be bringing Filk to Sweden?
Someone should be. I'm not sure if it's us. Maybe it's time for some younger talent to take over.
That would be very interesting. Yeah.
Yimi, any advice?
Obviously, just do it. Like, if you want to do it, because there's like there's no right or wrong way. Like, basically, with anything in like music or creativity, just jump straight in, because you never know like where you're gonna end up, and it's just do it and just have fun. So do whatever you want and just have a good time, and if it works, it works. Like, I feel like that's basically what a lot of us have done. Like, we want to do this, so we're gonna do this, and we're gonna have a great time doing it. Like, so my only advice would be to just jump straight in and try to have as much fun as possible.
Yeah, and I think that's something key that I think, Anna, you also mentioned in that old famous podcast interview, that we kind of want there to be a low barrier of entry to this thing. So, like, if you don't have a proper mic or you can't play an instrument, don't worry. Just bang on a table and scream to that. It works. Don't just do it. Kind of like Jimmy said. Yeah.
That sounds like the radio interview that Pussycat Dolores referenced, where they're like, just bang on a cookie jar. We want your music.
Yep, that's the one.
Yeah.
That was this podcast?
Definitely.
Yeah, I believe so. I believe that is the same one. Yes, we were just. It was very encouraging to people who would feel intimidated by, oh, but I don't play an instrument, or oh, but I know how to do this. It's just do it. Just do it. Anything is welcome.
That's a good point. I also always like to get really practical advice about, warm-ups or how to write a song, or like equipment that might be useful. Do you all have anything like that?
This is a good question. I have bought a lot of equipment, some that we needed, some that we didn't. One thing that I've done in recent years, and this is very specific, but like, it's really nice to go with these modern virtual guitar amplifiers that you fit in the pedal. Lugging around big amplifiers was always a hassle, and I'm really happy that I don't do it anymore.
Wow, that is so specific. I find that hilarious.
That doesn't really work for me, but
no.
but we have tried. So I've used sample pads before. So we've tried doing it even more compact. But if I can have a full kit, I will.
Any simple, practical, here's how you get started advice from other two? Or are we happy with the virtual amps?
Oh, simple, practical. How do we get started?
Well, I mean, in your case, what about learning the instrument?
That is true.
Or
That is
not.
true. Or not learning the instrument. Yeah, you know what? Actually, not learning the instrument. Yes. Yes. So when we started as well, I did not play the keyboard at all. Actually, I played trombone, which I also do in this band a fair amount, but I did not play the keyboard. And I think that you shouldn't overestimate how well you need to play an instrument to be able to start playing it. Because I think that when I started playing the keyboard in live performances, I still arguably, like by any definition, did not play the keyboard. But I am capable of playing a few bass notes at strategic times. I now play the keyboard a bit better than that, but there are, frankly, a bunch of our songs where I play a few bass notes at key times and I do some of the riffs. Which is useful to the band, but I am in no way a star keyboard player. However, I still play keyboard in the band, and I think that like in terms of learning the instrument, learn as you go. Like, don't learn it first and then think that, oh, but I have to learn it first before I can start playing or I can start creating something. I think you can start creating something before you basically even know how to do like a chord, adjust to the bass notes, and like add some tambourine. That's great. Then you have that. Then you have the music. Like it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be a great level of skill in order for it to be like an enjoyable recording of the thing you made. Yeah.
I love that. That's perfect. So listeners can't see what I can. You have a full fancy rehearsal space with like half a dozen mics and everything all set up. That seems to suggest to me that you all are practicing together on a semi-regular basis to maybe create something or have a performance. What are the Swedish Shortsnouts working on these days?
This interview right now. It's all for this. No, but we're not super active. We did a show last year at a con. There may be shows in the future, but there's nothing specific scheduled right now. We have we have released singles over the past year that kind of make up half an album. So at some point, maybe we'll do another half album and release that.
Yeah, that's. I think we also have like a couple of half demos and things. Like there have always been plans for another album, but it's. I think with the pandemic and everything as well, we also focused on a while on participating in the various online shows that appeared.
Yeah.
So I think the plans for the third album have been like a little dormant for a while, as have events been. So, but that's not. We haven't ruled it out, and I suppose we will see what's next. Usually something pops up. Over time, that's how it's been.
Do you have any half thoughts for the next song or something you'd like to write about?
Yes, I just need to think about what we should say here. Yeah, this is one idea I have, and it's arguably maybe a bad idea, but we have this song called Battle Cedric Diggory about the Swedish Shortsnout fighting Cedric Diggory in the Triwizard tournament. And this scene was revisited in The Cursed Child because they changed the timeline. Spoiler alert. So it would be interesting to do a sequel of that. But at this point, it feels a bit outdated. But we'll see, maybe. That's an idea, at least.
Here's our last music break, beginning with Dark Wizard by Riddle TM.
Severus Snape, do you know just how close he came to being named as Voldemort's right-hand man? And though you spent all summertime just gazing into those green eyes, oh Lily, she helps you see and think of where you'd be without her there by your side. She keeps part of you alive. And though you've got the makings of a real dark wizard, yeah, you know your heart will save you. You just know your heart will save you. You've got the makings of a real dark wizard, but the love that you have found will protect you, yeah, it will save you. protect you, yeah, it will save you now. She was so different, like some kind of beautiful anomaly. She made you realize that that's a different way for things to be. And though you've got the makings of a real dark wizard, you know your heart will save you. You just know your heart will save you. You've got the makings of a real dark wizard, but the love that you have found will protect you. Yeah, it will save you. You've got the makings of a real dark wizard, and you know your heart will save you. You just know your heart will save you. You've got the makings of a real dark wizard, but the love that you have found will protect you. Yeah, it will save you now. She'll save you. She'll save you now.
Witch don't kill my vibe, kill my vibe, kill my vibe. No, witch don't kill my vibe, kill my vibe, kill my vibe. I got some things I have to do, and I'm gonna see them through. So, witch don't kill my vibe, kill my vibe, kill my vibe. Ooh, you're looking at me wrong. Think I don't know, but I see ya. Ooh, you whisper up a rule. Think I don't know, but I hear ya. Ooh, there's some mission going on, and I know it's wrong. I can smell ya. Ooh, you can try to run and hide, it's a secret mine, but I find ya. Ooh, such silly boys and silly girls in here tonight, here tonight. Ooh, the rules have changed, new headmistress gonna set things right, set things right. Ooh, it's gonna be like my own show, I'm shining bright, shining bright. Ooh, me on the throne is gonna be a perfect sight, 'cause I'm the boss witch now. Witch don't kill my vibe, kill my vibe, kill my vibe. No, witch don't kill my vibe, kill my vibe, kill my vibe. I got some things I have to do, and I'm gonna see them through. So, witch don't kill my vibe, kill my vibe, kill my vibe. Witch don't kill my vibe, kill my vibe, kill my vibe. No, witch don't kill my vibe, kill my vibe, kill my vibe. I got some things I have to do, and I'm gonna see them through. So, witch don't kill my vibe, kill my vibe, kill my vibe.
To all you seekers of trouble, to marauders at heart, to those with years of breaking rules, and those about to start. You join prestigious company, like Mooney, Padfoot, and Prawns, Dumbledore's army, the Weasley twins, Harry, Hermione, and Ron. Stick it to evil, stick it to Umbridge, stick it to Voldemort. Mischief managed, damage done, worked on magic, had some fun. Caused some trouble, had to run, here we come. Mischief managed, or has the mischief just begun? Start the revolution. Make your final stand. Stick it to evil. Stick it to Umbridge. Stick it to Voldemort. Mr. Manage to manage. Damage done. We'll do magic. Had some fun. Cause some trouble. Had to run. Here we go. Mischief managed. Or has the mischief just begun? Witches, wizards, and all you other magical creatures out there, I give you Ronald Reed on lead guitar. And bass guitar, I present to you Preacher, the bring down the house elf. Street dancer and keyboardist extraordinaire, His Holiness George Weasley. On percussion this evening, the master of mischief himself, Peeves the Poltergeist. My name is Harry Potter, and you've been listening to Potter Noise. I solemnly swear that I am up to no good. I solemnly swear that I am up to no good. I solemnly swear that Voldemort is going down. Mission managed to manage. Damage done. We'll do magic. Had some fun. Fought some evil, and we won. Yeah, we won. Mr. Mischief managed. Or has the mischief just begun? Or has the mischief just begun?
That was Dark Wizard by Riddle TM, Pussycat Dolores's Witch Don't Kill My Vibe, and Mischief Managed by George by Potter Noise. Thank you so much for talking with me today. You guys are so much fun. I hope we get to hear more from you all soon. In the meantime, where can WCRD listeners find you online?
Let me look that up.
What?
No, but I don't remember our handles off the top of my head.
Oh, but just Google the Swedish Shortsnouts and you will find us on Bandcamp and Spotify. That's the main places where they can find our music.
We're also on other streaming.
Oh yeah, we're on like all the streamings. Yeah, that's true.
Like Deezer and what have you.
Yes, and on our YouTube channel you can find our music videos.
And some behind the scenes videos of some of our way too complicated shows.
Yeah.
So that's it for social media for y'all? You're not like Facebook, Twitter?
We are on the Facebook and on the Twitter as well, yes.
Yeah. Probably Facebook is probably our main one these days.
Yeah.
Although, who knows? Maybe we'll be on Mastodon in the future. I don't know.
Time will tell.
Yeah.
If you heard a song today and thought, I could listen to that again, then go to the transcript at wcrdradiopod.com, follow the link, and buy a copy of your very own. It's the best way to support your favorite musician, and without our Wizard Rockers, we wouldn't be here. If you want discounts on WZRD merch, the inside scoop on everything that's coming up, and bonus gifts and episodes, then you want WZRD Radio's Patreon at patreon.com/WZRD Radiopod. It's just $2 Muggle a month and also supports the Yes All Witches grant as they give money and mentorship to queer and BIPOC wizard rockers. If you want to keep up with WZRD between episodes, you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at WZRD Radiopod. If you don't believe in social media, you can also comment on the transcript or email me at wzrdradiopod@gmail.com. And now, here are the Swedish Shortsnouts.
Okay, we are going to play a song, and we have chosen to play Battle Cedric Diggory, which is one of our dragon-themed songs, which we thought was fitting. And we talked about this a bit earlier, so this is a song that is set during Book 4, as it is in Book 4 and not as it is in The Cursed Child. So we hope you enjoy it.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a tournament at Hogwarts School. These 4 champions are really cool. And I know who I want to slaughter. Yeah, I want to battle Harry Potter. But I had to battle Cedric Diggory. I like that kid, he seems nice to me. Still, though, a real fight it had to be when I had to battle Cedric Diggory. I beat Cedric for sure, but then he confused me with a Labrador. Thought his dog was boring and fled, so I chased after Cedric instead. I had to battle Cedric Diggory. I like that kid, it seems nice to me. Still, though, a real fight it had to be when I had to battle Cedric Diggory. How could Cedric get my golden egg, even after I burned half his head? How could he be faster than my fire? Maybe he's a vampire.
No, he's not.
That would be terrible. Diggory. I like that kid, he seems nice to me. Still, though, a real fight it had to be when I had to